Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Microlearning Credential on Effective Healthcare Waste Management. This is Module 2 of the course. In this lesson of Module 2, we will study common healthcare wastes generated from different sites of a healthcare facility. The next day, after the lunch break, Safia and her colleague visit some of the departments of the healthcare facility to identify different hazardous and non-hazardous wastes that are generated at that location. Safia uses the classification she read in the manual and categorizes the waste based on the nature of the risk. Let us see what kind of waste she identifies from each department. Safia first visits the pharmacy store. The healthcare waste she identifies at the pharmacy are chemical, pharmaceutical, and cytotoxic waste like expired drugs, spilled drugs, and non-hazardous or general waste like packaging, paper, empty containers. In Operation Theater, she identifies sharps like needles, intravenous sets, scalpels, blades, saws. Infectious and pathological waste like blood and other body fluids, suction canisters, gowns, gloves, masks, gauze, and other waste contaminated with blood and body fluids. Chemical, pharmaceutical, and cytotoxic waste like spent disinfectants waste, leaked anesthetic gases from storage containers. Lastly, non-hazardous or general waste like packaging, uncontaminated gowns, gloves, masks, hats, and shoe covers. Then she visits the laboratory, where she points out sharps like needles, broken glass, petri dishes, test tubes, broken pipettes. Infectious and pathological waste like blood and body fluids, microbiological cultures and stocks, tissue, infected animal carcasses, tubes and containers contaminated with blood or body fluids. Chemical, pharmaceutical, and cytotoxic waste like fixatives and other solvents, broken lab thermometers. And non-hazardous or general waste like packaging, uncontaminated gowns, gloves, masks, hats, and shoe covers. Then the medical ward. There she recognizes sharp waste like hypodermic needles, intravenous set needles, broken vials, and ampoules. Infectious and pathological waste like dressings, bandages, gauze, and cotton contaminated with blood or body fluids, gown, gloves and masks contaminated with blood or body fluids. Chemical, pharmaceutical, and cytotoxic waste like broken thermometers and blood pressure gauges, spilled medicines, spent disinfectants. Lastly, non-hazardous or general waste like packaging, food scraps, paper, empty saline bottles, non-bloody diapers, non-bloody intravenous tubing, and bags. She also visits the vaccination campaign going on in the facility premises and identifies sharps like needles and syringes, chemical, pharmaceutical and cytotoxic waste like bulk vaccine waste, vials, gloves, non-hazardous or general waste like packaging. Finally, she visits the outpatient department and locates sharp waste like needles and syringes, broken ampoules and vials. Infectious and pathological waste like cotton, gauze, dressings, gloves, masks and other materials contaminated with blood or other body fluids. Chemical, pharmaceutical, and cytotoxic waste like broken thermometers and blood pressure gauges, expired drugs, spent disinfectants, dental amalgam. Lastly, non-hazardous or general waste like packaging, paper, uncontaminated gloves, and masks. Now that Safia has a clear understanding of different kinds of healthcare waste as well as the common healthcare wastes that are generated from different sites at her workplace, she wants to understand the hazards of healthcare wastes, including their impact on public health and the environment. At the end of this lesson, you should have understood various categories of wastes and where they are generated in a hospital or a health facility. What categories of waste are generated in the department that you work in?